Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
For every veteran, there is a story about a calling to serve, to fight for the freedoms of the American people. And every story has a struggle, a sacrifice, and invisible wounds. Warrior Wad's programs help veterans recover from PTSD and invisible wounds through exercise, nutrition, and connecting with other veteran leaders. It is estimated that 22 veterans die each day by suicide, and another 30 veterans die each day by substance abuse. These are preventable deaths. Warrior Wad is committed to fighting PTSD through fitness, nutrition, and community.
All right. Welcome back.
MisFitNation. MisFitNation. The MisFitNation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the MisFitNation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches. We love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the MisFitNation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the MisFitNation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the MisFitNation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisFitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. The ToosDay Crue is here, hosted by Stephen LaMonica and Jay Collin. It is a MisFitNation production that brings powerful stories of grit, resilience, and leadership to life. Steven is a business leader and YouTube consigliere, ensures the show runs smoothly, providing real-time feedback and maintaining discipline during live broadcasts. Jake, a 25-year Army veteran and former EOD tech. We call him Hurt Locker. We call him Lacey. Offers deep insights from his extensive service, which includes multiple combat deployments and VIP missions around the globe. Together, they welcome guests from diverse backgrounds to share their journeys, inspiring listeners with stories of overcoming adversity and leading with purpose. Whether you're tuning in for the insightful discussions, or to enjoy Steven's passion for NASCAR, or Jake's anecdotes from his farm in Kentucky, the ToosDay Crue delivers a unique blend of entertainment and inspiration every week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ToosDay Crue!
Steven.
Jake.
How's it going?
Good evening.
All right. The ToosDay Crue is here, hosted by Stephen Lamont.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. A little burping action there.
Hey, I'm coming to you from wonderful Columbus, Indiana this evening, on the road this week. So
Seems to be your and Rich's second home.
Yes, it is Rich and I's second home, and got a little snow today, a little chilly, but everything's doing good. How's things over there on the East Coast?
Well, we had some snow Sunday. It's 32 out right now, and they're calling for more tonight. I think there's a little bit of mixed weather all the way through to like next Wednesday.
Awesome.
So
awesome. Hey, we got an exciting guest this evening. It is Molly Rose Speed. She's an advocate for creating time freedom through remote and rewarding careers. So she's the founder of Virtual Assistant Management, and she is the creator of the Virtual Assistant Academy. And she's dedicated herself to empowering military spouses, moms, and entrepreneurs to reclaim their time. Hey, what's something we could all use? It's more time, right?
Oh, definitely.
That I would love it. She is a military spouse, and I'm looking forward to how I can save time and make more time for myself. So without any ado, let's get her in here.
Good evening, Molly. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello. Hi. Great to be here.
It's great to have you.
Stephen, I love your affinity for Charlie Brown. I'm a huge fan. And I saw you got is that a tattoo as well?
Charlie Brown, no, I got Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, okay. Well, too.
Gossamer, Marvin the Martian. What else?
The comics. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's just one side. Jake, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask how everybody was doing this evening.
You look like you had something in your mind.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I don't envy your cold weather. I'm in Florida, so I grew up in Iowa though, so I know what it feels like up there.
Yes, I was actually there in Iowa working this last summer. I love it out there.
Yeah, it's good people.
Very good people. Very good people. I had family there when I was growing up, so I've spent a lot of time out there.
Great.
So we gave about a 2-cent bio on you. Just kind of hit the high points and everything. Why don't you start from wherever you want to and bring us up to right now and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So raised in Iowa, fell in love with a military guy in college, had no idea what military life was. And I just thought, okay, I'm on board for this. He went to pilot training and drop night. I thought he was going to go to New Mexico. And I thought, well, we'll long distance date a bit longer, but he dropped Florida. And I'm like, I'm moving to the beach. And I invited myself along. We got engaged about 2 years later, and I became a real military spouse. But I worked a few corporate jobs along the way, and he was in AFSOC. So his ops tempo was really high back then. And I realized real quickly that 10 days of vacation wasn't enough for this lifestyle. And I wanted to travel when he was deployed and be home with family if needed. And thought about, having a family someday. How do we do this? And so I quit cold turkey and I became what we all know now as a virtual assistant. But 13 years ago, that term was not what it is today.
No.
And I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. I learned that you could get paid outside of a W-2 to offer an admin service, and I did it. And then along the way, I learned everything I could under the sun about building online businesses, marketing, websites, automations, email management, efficiently managing a business online, and built a pretty thriving company. And I had fellow military spouses seeing my life. I was traveling, I was making money, I seemed happy. And they were saying, how do I do what you do? And so I say one too many Starbucks dates later, I created my first academy, virtual assistant academy, and I started training military spouses and how to start virtual careers as admins. And since then, we've trained over 160, and we have a placement agency that goes along with it. So once they get certified as virtual assistants, there's a hybrid model where they can either go out and find their own clients, or they come on board with us and we find clients for them and kind of foster them along the way of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and becoming a virtual employee. So that's it in a nutshell. And I've never gotten restationed in 13 years. So
Nice.
the thought of PCSing, that was one of my things. I'm like, well, we're going to move around the world, hopefully. We never did, which has been great on its own.
So you said AFSOC, so I take it you're probably in the Panhandle area?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes.
Yep. Destin side, but yes.
Okay. I used to live I was stationed at Eglin. I used to live in Crestview.
Yep. Know it well.
So, yeah, the Redneck Riviera.
The Redneck Riviera. It's a beautiful place to be.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now, what you do is set them up, and then what? They get jobs in companies that are done virtually, or you set up through the companies for them also? We
do both. I'd say the program teaches the new VAs how to go out and find their own work. And it's really cool because we teach the business side, right? They're becoming their own entrepreneurs in a lot of ways. So how do you get an LLC and price and have contracts and proposals and do discovery calls and all the things that we do in business? And then there's also the tech side where learning, this is how you update a website. This is how you post podcast content. This is how you manage a really busy inbox or book travel or manage a schedule, there's hundreds of things virtual assistants do. So in the business program, we teach them also how to go get jobs. So, and as a certified virtual assistant through our organization, it gives them a step above, because a lot of people are just picking up a laptop and saying you're an assistant, but having that formal training is helping them get jobs really quickly.
Well, yeah, you need to actually know what you're doing, not just sit here like this all the way.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So, okay, now Stephen is too. We're both old, but so basically you could be like an executive assistant or whatever. And instead of following this guy around with a notepad guy or gal around with a notepad all the time, I could be across the country and just never even have to see the person.
Correct. Hopefully we meet on Zoom. I do plug that. Like, meet your client on Zoom at least once a week, get to know each other. But yes, it's, that old school, that show Mad Men came out. I don't know if you saw it, but it's an ad agency show that takes place, I think, in the 50s. I might get, and it's all the women in the middle, and they're all assistants for the guys that sit on the perimeter with the nice views, and they're taking the calls and running the paper, and it's like that old school approach, right? And today all of that is virtual, and a lot of it's automated, right? So a lot of things you don't even need the person to do anymore.
Well, I mean, that would be good. I mean, I guess it would probably affect your bottom line of the company, because you don't have to have office space, you don't have to have a desk, or don't have to do all the things that you would have to do for an in-person employee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And now even like I'm working with a car dealership with a problem with a car. You call up, it's automated.
Yeah.
When you say what you want, you get a text, and they want to communicate in text. You're not actually talking to a person ever until you're there with your car.
Yeah, that's true.
It's what are you calling me for? Okay, this person's not going to text you because we do everything by text now. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, efficiency, I guess, right?
It makes their life easier. Can't do my job. I work on cars all day. You can't do that virtually. I can't go like this and fix a car.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I know everything is ramping up, and we're going more virtual, more. There's a lot of the phone calls are screened, and texts are screened by AI to answer your questions and stuff like that. But our producer can tell you, anytime I make a phone call to a help desk or to anybody like that, I'm usually about the 15th minute that I've explained what I want done, I'm screaming representative into the phone.
I know. Me too.
I can actually talk to a person.
Yeah. 0, 0, 0. That also gets you to the representatives usually.
It does. Hey, our listeners are chiming in already. We got a question pop up.
What's the biggest myth about becoming a virtual assistant, and how do you help people overcome them? The biggest myth.
Just like that, you took over the show. I like that.
Sorry, I thought it was me.
No, that's fine.
I would say, I think those becoming virtual assistants, you still have a lot of responsibility, right? You're a big part of someone's organization. In a lot of senses, I always say business owners start their business for a specific reason or a specific purpose, and then they end up wearing 27 hats. They all of a sudden realize that they have to do billing and invoicing and bookkeeping and create a website and customer support and all the things that go into a business. So oftentimes their first hire is a virtual assistant. And what virtual assistants don't understand, I think, right away is how big of a role they play in a business. So if you're the right hand to the entrepreneur, they're starting to entrust this organization that they've built, probably by themselves for at least 2 years, onto you. And so you have a lot of autonomy, you have a lot of responsibility. And that also goes on the business owner side, right? We talk with a lot of business owners that like, oh, I'm just hiring a VA for basic admin, but they do so much more. I actually want to get rid of the term virtual assistant, and it should be like operations manager, because that's the level that these women and men are coming in at.
It actually should be. And after COVID, when people started working from home, working remotely, it's becoming more and more where people are doing this work. And it's not virtual, it's at work.
Yes.
You're just not in your office no more.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And then a lot of people didn't want to go back.
Nope.
No.
I like doing it this way. I have my shorts on with this dress shirt. I'm pretty. Look at that. Let's wear it.
Well, I just want to thank Remote Revolution for that question. Hey, listeners, keep them coming, because it's y'all that help us get this information out there.
There you go.
Got another one. Gone today here. You said 13 years in one location. Is your husband still serving?
Yes. He's on the reserve side of things, but active reserves. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll tell him thank you for his service.
Thank you. I will.
All right. So I have to ask, seeing I'm not anything military, is 13 years in one spot like a big thing that you haven't moved?
I think so.
Yes.
It is? Okay. That's, I've never seen that. Don't live that side of the world. So you need to tell me these things.
Yep.
You need to educate me virtually.
I spent 10 in one place, and that's just because I just kept just telling them, well, I think I'm going to retire. And so they just left me alone.
I'll say, well, you threatened. I'm going to blow things up on my own now.
Yes. Yes. So I contact you and I want to become a virtual assistant. Now, do we do like the class and all that? Is that self-paced, or do we have, how do we, do you give me a curriculum, or how's that work?
Yes. So it's a self-paced online course. So everything's on demand. However, we have two of us that run it that are kind of with you along the way. So if you have any questions, and we make sure by the end of the program, we sign you off, right? We actually vet you, make sure that you're competent, ready to go, have our stamp of approval, and then you get our certification. And then we have a community that runs alongside the program. So you're with other some tenured virtual assistants, some brand new virtual assistants, and we all help each other. We have calls every month to kind of just foster that community, answer questions, keep everyone moving.
Okay, that's good. And we got another question. VA Hustler Queen, your work empowers military spouses and entrepreneurs. What's the first step for someone looking to build a remote career with flexibility?
So I would say, yes, that I'm like, my work does empower military spouses and entrepreneurs. That's what I'm saying yes to. Thank you for that. So I think the first thing about building a flexible career is deciding, having clarity around when you can work, who you want to work for. If you can decide right now, sometimes I tell my virtual assistants to kind of go out and get their feet wet in different industries, and then you'll kind of start to understand who you like to work with, the kind of entrepreneurs you like to work with, and then what you want to offer. So when I'm working with new VAs, a lot of it's around confidence building. And, it's like, well, what am I going to do? I've never done this before. I don't have the skill sets. And within 5 minutes of chatting, we can pull out all sorts of things that they know how to do. We all are scrolling on our phones. We all know how to post on social media. That's a great service offering that a lot of people need right now. Or if we're great at email correspondence or the written word, we can write and edit blogs. We can manage inboxes. So it's around how much you want to work, who you want to do it for, and then what it is that you're going to begin offering and putting that out there. Maybe it's sharing it with family members. And then I always say your first referral is a degree, or, 1 degree away, that they can go out and share, say, oh, my daughter-in-law just started a virtual assistant company and she is offering this. So the more clear you can be, the quicker you can get a client, and the quicker you can start building your business for that.
Okay. Now, how hard is it to multitask and say somebody's real good at being a virtual assistant? Are there virtual assistants out there that handle more than one company?
Yes. So I like to call it fractional assisting, right? So the beauty of it for a business owner is they can hire a VA for as low as 20 hours a month, 5 hours a week. In my book, that's our lowest amount that I recommend, and then go up. So we have VAs that often make up their book of business with about 3, maybe 4 clients. Usually it's about 3, and maybe one might take 10 hours and 2 are taking up 5 hours each because they only want to work 20 hours a week. So that's really, really common. And it works out great for both sides to have the flexibility to not have to have someone full time.
Okay. All right.
And we got a question coming in. This one has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Mom D41 like Molly, I love the bookshelf. Did you build it or where did you get it?
That's awesome. That's so funny because I feel like when I'm on an interview, it's this dark, moody bookshelf. So thank you for that. I have an office garage, which is pretty cool. If you are going to work remote, see if you can work that out for yourself. And it came with the house. There's no getting it out. So.
Oh, we have the technology to get it out if you really
I could get some chainsaw. Yeah.
See, I go get all mine at IKEA. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bookshelves.
And I always think let me see if I can do this. I always think a rainbow book selection is always appealing too when you rainbow your books.
Yes. So what are some companies that you have worked for, or different types of companies that you have virtually assisted for?
Yeah. So our VAs and myself have done, people often ask, do you niche down in a certain industry? And we've thought about that, but it never really presents itself because people come to us from all walks of life with all different backgrounds. Some that I can share are the interior design space, the cake decorating space, which is strange. A lot of coaches, speakers, authors, consultants, trainers, financial advisors, realtors, nonprofits. We're really heavy in that right now. Marketing agencies. It's really whatever. And what's been cool is some of our virtual assistants have background careers in that world, but they move somewhere where that industry is not available because military bases are in small towns mostly with no industry. So they're able to still be in the same market that they studied maybe in school, but just offer a different perspective.
Okay. All right. And we got another question from Outsource Genius. What are the top automation tools or strategies that you recommend to business owners who want to reclaim their time?
Love it. That's a good name too, Outsource Genius. So automation tools, I use everything you can possibly think of for automation. And I also look at systematizing as much as I possibly can. So if I'm doing something more than once, I try to find a solution for it. So some basic ones that I think business owners should be using are things like online scheduling, which you guys use for the podcast, any type of email marketing tools that you're using for automations. I'm using a lot of AI tools right now, not just the copy ones, but something like Use Motion, which is a tool that auto tells you when to work on projects within your calendar. And that's been really cool. I template just about every email I possibly can that I have to write twice. And I use the Gmail template. I know that that's not your formal automation style, but it is an automation. We're hacking time by doing that. Let's see. Automation tools. I have probably a lot of Zapiers in my world. Zapiers are things that connect systems together through automation. So if someone's opting into something, it's sending a signal to another system that I have to automate the flow of contacts or marketing. So a lot of the automations we use are in marketing and just creating systems around how business owners are making money.
Okay. So like it can link maybe, payroll to
a CRM system or something.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, we got at least two more questions coming in. This one is from Jihan Climbs. Do you offer services for outdoor enthusiast businesses?
If we're talking about, I don't know exactly what that means. I'm going to take a broad stroke. Maybe if you're like an influencer that's sharing outdoor advice or products, yes, you could have someone manage all of your social media and your customer support and your brand deals. If you're selling anything outdoor, having an assistant come in and help with your back end and your customer pipeline, maybe that would be what I can go to with what that is.
Okay. And Jihan, correct me if I'm wrong when I say this. I think that is one of our listeners from Nepal, and they are actually climbing guides.
Oh, cool. So, yes, using assistants, for your marketing, sharing, if you're out climbing and you're taking photos with customers, having that go on your social media to promote the tourists come in to hire you. Or could be your customer service. So if someone's trying to book with you, having someone in the inbox that's scheduling them and taking payment and making sure they sign their appropriate contracts. If you're doing climbing, that would be a good thing for a VA to do. Okay, and yes, our VAs could do that.
This might have been a job interview, Molly.
I don't know. Feeling the pressure.
Okay, next one. From time freedom now, you talk about creating time freedom. What's one habit or mindset shift that has been a game changer in your life?
Yes. If I don't have to do it, I'd say 80% of the time I should be outsourcing it to a system or a person. And a lot of that comes with time. Obviously, it takes resources to outsource and financial means to do that. But that's really important. But if I'm a business owner or a boss of any sort, empowering others to do the things that I'm not supposed to be doing, that's what I do to create time freedom. I also, a few other things to make sure it relates to the audience. I time hack a lot, right? So I set timers and I'm going to get this done because I work on a deadline. I'm going to get this done in 45 minutes. And 9 times out of 10, if I do it that way, it gets done. Or I'll bulk schedule calls. I think calls and email are one of the most unproductive things for business owners. So scheduling calls after lunch, maybe while I'm on a walk, that's really important versus scheduling them all throughout the day. So I can't have pockets of the time to be really productive. And same thing goes with email, not letting your email bog you down throughout the day. People create to-do lists out of their email all day long. They'll sit in email and just do tasks that come in, especially if you're client facing. So checking your email at the beginning of the day, maybe once during lunch and then, or before lunch, and then at the end of the day is a way to be really productive. And again, creates time freedom that you won't necessarily, you think you feel, but over time, it adds a lot of sanity and to be able to get a lot of work done a lot quicker.
All right. Stephen, I'm going to let you pop that next question up there.
Okay, from Sue the Goddess, for Stephen and Jake. How did you meet? Well, Jake works with my brother. My brother runs the show. So we met one of my few visits to Tennessee. So that's that. And did you plan the glasses for your uniform? No.
No, you did not.
Jake has always been blind. I've always been blind. I never wore my glasses. I just recently got a new prescription and they just happen to match.
Thank you for that question, Sam. Now, I have a couple questions for you, Molly. First of all, being from Iowa, you are a Caitlin Clark fan.
Yes, big time. She's awesome.
Yes, I just had to check that out. Second, and I'm sure that you have dealt with this, there is a stereotype around the military spouse. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Big time.
Agree.
Depends what one you're talking about.
What has your services, your empowerment that are you knocking down that stereotype, at least in your sphere that you're working in?
I sure hope so, or at least providing a outlet for military spouses to have so that the stereotype doesn't get them. The stereotype I ran into the most and my peers did was not getting hired or not getting paid the appropriate amount because they think we're all going to move. I went as far as not wearing my wedding ring into an interview, my last interview.
Okay.
And it was a thing. It was a conversation. So I think by having alternative ways for women and men, but we mostly are women, to work and earn more than they probably would in a local job is helping fuel that cause in a big way.
Well, I mean, definitely you're going to make more doing this than you are working at the shop at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or the HR services office in Fort Walton Beach, like my friend did. It's so sad what people are paid in these small towns for what they're doing.
Yes. And yeah, it is.
Well, it's a shame what people are getting paid in general everywhere, but
yeah,
we're not going there tonight. That's a different show. All right, we have another question coming in from Digital Nomad. With remote work constantly evolving, where do you see the virtual assistant industry heading in the next 5 years?
Yeah, you brought up COVID, and our business completely changed because of that, because America learned to work online. And before they were fearful, right? They didn't know how to trust people virtually, and that completely changed. And also learn the actual tech of Zoom. Everyone figured it out, how how to communicate. So I see the virtual assistant need at its all-time high right now, and business owners are starting businesses right and left, and the boomers are moving out and the next generation's coming in and doing things a lot differently. I think more importantly, over the next 5 years, AI is taking over, as we all know. And people often ask me, this is going to replace virtual assistants. And I confidently tell my VAs that if you know how to work with AI and become as effective as you can using this amazing tool that we're now learning how to use, you will always have a job, because I don't think everyone's doing that. And it needs human input to have a really strong output. So I think that's the key to being a really successful virtual assistant or ops manager over the next 5 years.
Okay. Learn how to code.
A lot of good questions coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of good. Hey, MisFitNation, we love you, and we love all the questions, because without y'all, us two would probably run out of stuff to say. And I'll go ahead and put up our producer stuck it up there. If you want to be a guest on the MisFitNation, send Rich LaMonica a message on Podmatch, and the link is down there, and he will get back with you and get you scheduled to come on the MisFitNation. Wow, more questions. I got. So you was talking about I guess it would be part-time stuff. So like if I have 10 clients or 5 clients, however many clients I have, and we agree, it's like, okay, I'm going to put, I will devote 20 hours a week to you, 20 hours a week to you. And so that's just how you divide up the time over your week, and then you just bill them all separately, or you just have it in your contract that you're salaried at 20 hours or however.
Yes. So when you're starting out, you learn, right? You take the clients you can get.
Yes.
But what I ask my VAs to do is have retainers for 20 hours at a minimum. So
okay.
Client A is paying X amount for 20 hours to securing, making sure that you're going to have that. And it behooves the client as well, because the client is guaranteed that work, right? They know that they're going to have you for 20 hours.
Okay.
And then if the VA goes over, let's say it's a really big month for the client and they have a launch or a big program starting, as an example, upon approval, a virtual assistant can work over their set amount of hours if they have the capacity to do so and the client approves it. So that's how we kind of deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It works out really well.
I was kind of wondering, how all that works. Now, is it best? I know that you say that you're doing all kind of things, you try to streamline it, payroll, scheduling, whatever you're doing. Is it best to try to get all your clients maybe using the same payroll? Like if it's just, whether it's like Deltec or, whatever they're using, to try to get everybody on the same page. So that's easier, and all I got to do is shift accounts instead of shifting.
So what I have our VAs do is we send an invoice, and usually it's an automation too. They can pay right through the invoice. So it doesn't matter what accounting system anyone's using. That can be whatever they want it to be.
Okay.
I'm going to take this answer this, because it brings up a good point. Virtual assistants, it's interesting. We're in the business of people, right? So some people want to be, I just do Kajabi. It's an all-in-one platform that I'm a huge fan of. And this is the service I offer, and I'm only looking for clients that are on this platform. Or I do all the bookkeeping, and I'm a bookkeeping VA, and I just want clients that use QuickBooks, right? So there's that. You can niche down by your service offering.
Okay.
But then more than not, we have virtual assistants that want to mix it up. We're like, I couldn't do the same thing all day. I want to be able to learn lots of different tools and softwares. So I'm going to kind of be a jack of all trades, and that's how most of them are. So that's beneficial too. So it just depends on what you want to do. So you have the flexibility to do so.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
We got another question.
All right.
It's from Mrs. P. Devine. Molly, you are an inspiration. What advice would you give a person who has just totally burned out in corporate for 20 plus years to get into this niche?
I would say write down everything you know how to do, everything, every software you know, every task you've done in corporate, every leadership role you've done, everything you can possibly do, and take a look at it, because I'm sure 20 years in corporate's taught you a lot. And how can that transfer over to being an operations professional for a virtual business, right? And then let's put a one sheet together and pitch it and try to get you a client. You can moonlight really easily in corporate. So get that first client for 5 hours a week and get your feet wet and kind of see how it goes. And then gradually you can offload your corporate job if you're looking for that. We have that situation happen a lot. So it's all about recognizing you do have the skill sets that you can transfer over. And with that kind of experience, you'd probably be really, really good fit.
Awesome. And Miss Devine, we wish you the best of luck with that.
Yeah.
You want to get out of the corporate world and work remotely and work for yourself. There's a lot of freedom in that. So if I want to get in touch with you, or our listeners want to get in touch with you about taking your classes or getting in and becoming a VA, how would they do that?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram at Molly Rose Speed or LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help anyone like I just did, because I know what that feels like, being burnout in a corporate job. And that's my mission, to help people get out of that. And then virtualassistantacademy.com is my academy, or mollyrosespeed.com. You can find everything there. We do have a military discount. I always say, if I ever run a special or anything, the military will always pay the least amount. So it's the best deal you can get. And there's a link to it in the bottom of the sales page, or you can just send me a message and I'll make sure you get linked up. And then virtualassistantmanagement.com is where you go if you're looking to hire a certified virtual assistant. We can take care of you there.
Okay. And we got another question.
Okay.
I didn't even see that. Everything's been moving on my screen so fast.
This is from Action Over Inaction. It says, Molly, many people say you need to find your why. Does that work for this field as well?
Simon Sinek. That's who taught us all of that. Yes, I think if you're this is a kind of a personal development question. Knowing why you do something just makes you that much more powerful at what you do, regardless of what it is. So in this situation, my why has changed over time. You know, I did it to have freedom, have time freedom to be able to work when I want. And now it's to empower others to do the same. I want to make a bigger impact in that. So I think that's really important, because being an entrepreneur, and you are as a virtual assistant, it's hard. You know, you're alone in an office and you're making it work, you're making it happen. But so you need to know, why you're stepping out and doing this, and making sure you have a strong reason to show up every day for yourself and do the work, and then go and pick up the kids from school and go to soccer games in most of the cases of the virtual assistants that I support. So I think that's super important.
Sounds like a good life.
Yes.
Sounds like a good life.
Definitely. Oh, you popped it up already. Thank you. More to life. Do you use a VA for your work as well?
Yes. So I just started about a year and a half ago. I finally hired an assistant. There's a thing about this industry. I'm kind of a control freak. So it's like, and it's so interesting. I'll be transparent here. I have a lot of clients come to us, and when they hire a new virtual assistant, they have a hard time letting go of things. And the virtual assistant gets frustrated because they're trying to do the thing they were hired to do, but the client won't give them the details, or keeps doing the job anyway. Right. And so that I was kind of that person. I'm like, I'll just do it. But the minute you start kind of outsourcing and trust someone to take something off your plate, you kind of get a taste of that. And it's amazing. So I do have an assistant. She's amazing. She has become more of my writer because I found a talent in her that she loves to write and edit and copyright. So she's kind of editing everything because that's my weakness to the nth degree. So that's been really cool. I hired her to do my general admin, and now she's doing all my marketing. So just shows where you can take it as well as an assistant.
That's awesome.
But then again, if you want to pay me to be your assistant and you do all the work, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Now, was that somebody you trained?
It wasn't, actually. I thought about that. And I have used some of my VAs. She just came to me through a friend, and she's turned into kind of a mentor. So it's kind of taking a sidetrack. So I just kind of hit it off with her and had a feeling. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have her come through. I did put her through my program though, but I hired her first.
Oh, okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she got the employee discount.
Yes, she did. And she audited the whole thing.
All right. We're going to start to kind of wrap things up here. And you talked about COVID and how this thing really kicked off during COVID. And the company I work for, of course, we went remote for just about everything. And I didn't like it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but what are 3 things that if you're working remote, whether from your house or wherever you're at, what are 3 things that you pretty much have to do, to make sure that you're successful working remote?
I would say the first, and this has taken me a long time to learn, is setting clear boundaries and when your day starts and when your day ends, especially if you're working from home. I've been known to, do the work after dinner until 9 p.m. and that's not good for anybody and family and all of that. So really holding yourself to timeframes is super important. I would say this is about automation, some of this conversation. So automate as much as you can, as much as again, automations don't have to necessarily be systems, but almost just like routines of things that you can block schedule, or you can have templates, or you can set up automations for scheduling, or have Zoom links at the ready. I think that's super important during working remote. And then I think lastly, when you work remote, you're alone. I mentioned that earlier. You don't see others. So it's on you to kind of stay visible. So show up on Zoom with your camera on when you can, or if you're into social media, even if it's LinkedIn, like just share something with others and have that dialogue or interest with others. Or if you're working in a corporation that uses some type of communication system like Slack or Asana, have some personal rapport in addition to your work, because it can get lonely. And I think that's kind of what we all experienced during COVID, and it's continuing now because we're all still working remote, most of us. So a lot of us, not most, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Stephen, you got anything else?
No.
All right. Molly will tell you, this will be on YouTube forever.
Okay. Ever.
So, you go in there, you tell your friends to go find it and watch it. And then in about 6 weeks, it'll get published to other platforms, iHeart, Rumble, Spotify, across all those platforms. And I want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, share, and MisFitNation, we love you. And Molly, thank you so much for being here tonight.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it was. Your minds, if you'd have asked me what a virtual assistant is, 40 minutes ago, I would not have been able to answer. But
you think it's a kiosk. Yep.
I've kind of got an idea of what it is. And entrepreneurs out there that are listening, check it out. Get yourself a virtual assistant. Take some of that load off.
Definitely.
And as always, Misfit Nation, we love you. Thank you for all the questions. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you again, Molly. Jake, thank you. Have a good night, everybody. See you.
This is a message from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Got a question about your VA benefits, healthcare, or eligibility? Go to va.gov, where you can access a new interactive chatbot to ask questions 24/7. One can still browse va.gov for information, but you can now ask specific questions to the chatbot, like what's the PACT Act? How do I apply for disability benefits? What's my claim status? You can access the new feature through va.gov's Contact Us page. Then click on the Start Chat button. The chatbot will continue to improve veterans' access to information about the benefits and services they've earned. This is one way VA is offering seamless and secure access to its online resources.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.